Welcome to Green Earth VN. Today, we uncover the hidden truths behind one of the most powerful, yet terrifying forms of energy ever created by humanity. Nuclear power. Humanity has always chased the dream of unlimited energy. Nuclear power was once seen as the answer, a cleaner and more advanced future for us all. But behind that promise lies a terrifying truth. Nuclear disasters and radioactive waste, a threat that could outlive human civilization itself. Nuclear energy was once hailed as the key to a cleaner and more advanced world. It promised limitless power to fuel our growing industries and light up our cities, all without the smog and greenhouse gases of fossil fuels. Today, it provides roughly 10% of global electricity, a significant contribution to our modern way of life. The core appeal is its incredible efficiency, and the fact that, during operation, it releases no carbon dioxide. A single uranium fuel pellet can generate as much energy as a ton of coal, making it an attractive option for nations seeking rapid industrial growth. However, behind this promise of clean, efficient power lies a darker, more dangerous reality. The very process that generates this immense energy also creates byproducts that are profoundly hazardous. The risk of radioactive leakage, whether through human error or natural disaster, looms over every nuclear facility. Unlike other industrial accidents, a nuclear event can have consequences that are irreversible, contaminating vast areas of land and water for centuries. The waste produced by these reactors remains dangerously radioactive for tens of thousands, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of years. A single mistake can cost generations their health, their homes, and their future. One failure can poison the entire environment, leaving a permanent scar on the planet. History has shown us the catastrophic potential of nuclear energy when things go wrong. These disasters are not just accidents. They are permanent warnings, etched into the story of humanity. The first, and perhaps most infamous, is Chernobyl. In April 1986, a flawed reactor design and a poorly executed safety test at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine led to a catastrophic steam explosion and fire. The blast tore the roof off Reactor 4, releasing a plume of radioactive material that was 400 times greater than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The Soviet government's initial secrecy and delay in responding worsened the crisis. A radioactive cloud spread across Europe, contaminating millions of acres of farmland and forests. Over 350,000 people were forced to evacuate from their homes, leaving behind ghost towns like Pripyat, frozen in time. The long-term health effects, including a spike in cancer rates, have affected countless lives. Even today, wildlife in the exclusion zone shows signs of genetic mutations. The lack of a strong safety culture and the attempt to conceal the truth turned Chernobyl into a permanent scar on human history, a symbol of nuclear hubris. Decades later, a different kind of failure struck. On March 11, 2011, a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered a devastating tsunami. The towering waves overwhelmed the seawalls of the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, flooding the facility and disabling its emergency cooling systems. Without cooling, the reactor cores began to overheat, leading to a series of meltdowns and hydrogen explosions. Radioactive materials were released into the atmosphere and, critically, into the Pacific Ocean. Millions of tons of contaminated water have been collected on site, and the cleanup is a monumental task that will take decades and cost hundreds of billions of dollars. The ocean currents have carried radioactive isotopes across the globe, and the long-term impact on marine ecosystems is still being studied. Fukushima was a stark reminder of our vulnerability. Nature only needed 1 second to show we don't control everything, and that even the most technologically advanced nations can be brought to their knees. Even in the United States, the pioneer of nuclear energy, disaster has struck. In 1979, at the 3 Mile Island plant in Pennsylvania, a combination of equipment failure and human error led to a partial meltdown of one of the reactors, while the containment buildings successfully prevented a large-scale release of radiation. The event caused widespread panic and fundamentally changed the global perception of nuclear safety. It triggered a complete overhaul of regulations and safety standards in the nuclear industry worldwide. Though not as devastating as Chernobyl or Fukushima, 3 Mile Island was a terrifying near-miss, A wake-up call that could have easily become another Chernobyl on American soil. Beyond the headline-grabbing disasters lies a more insidious and persistent problem: radioactive waste, the silent shadow of the nuclear age. Every step of the nuclear fuel cycle, from uranium mining to reactor operation and even medical applications, generates radioactive waste. This waste is broadly classified into two categories: low-level waste, such as contaminated tools, clothing, and filters, poses a short-term threat and decays to safe levels within a few hundred years. But the real challenge is high-level waste, primarily spent nuclear fuel rods from reactors. This material is intensely radioactive and will remain deadly for an astonishingly long time, anywhere from 10,000 to over 100,000 years. Currently, there is no permanent, universally accepted solution for disposing of this high-level waste. Most of it is stored temporarily on site at nuclear power plants, either in large, steel-lined concrete pools of water for cooling or in massive, sealed steel and concrete casks. The long-term plan for many countries is deep geological burial, sealing the waste in stable rock formations hundreds of meters underground. However, the technical and ethical challenges are immense. We are creating a toxic legacy that will far outlive the power plants that created it. Nuclear waste may survive longer than every nation, every language, and every generation alive today. Who will protect the future from our mistakes? The risks associated with this long-term storage are profound. What if a container corrodes and leaks, contaminating groundwater that supplies drinking water to future cities? What if an earthquake or geological erosion exposes a buried repository thousands of years from now? The sites could become targets for terrorism or fall into chaos during a war. Perhaps the most unsettling risk is accidental future exposure. How do we communicate the danger to a civilization 10,000 years from now? A society that may not understand our languages or our warning symbols. We are forced to admit a sobering reality. We cannot reliably monitor something that outlives us. Faced with these daunting challenges, the scientific community is racing to find better solutions. The future of nuclear power depends on whether we are wise enough to correct the mistakes of our past. Researchers are developing innovative technologies that could make nuclear energy safer and more sustainable. Generation 4 reactors are being designed with passive safety features that make meltdowns virtually impossible. Some of these advanced designs can even burn existing nuclear waste as fuel, reducing its volume and long-term toxicity. Alternative fuel cycles are also being explored. Thorium, an element more abundant than uranium, can be used in reactors that produce far less long-lived radioactive waste. Thorium fuel is also much harder to weaponize, addressing concerns about nuclear proliferation. Another promising avenue is the reprocessing of spent nuclear fuel. This process can separate reusable uranium and plutonium from the waste, reducing the volume of high-level hazardous material by up to 96%. For the waste that remains, progress is being made on permanent disposal. Finland is leading the world with its Onkalo facility, the first deep geological repository designed to entomb spent fuel for 100,000 years, sealed deep within the bedrock. While these innovations offer hope, they are still largely in developmental stages and face immense financial and political hurdles. While nuclear technology tries to solve its own problems, a cleaner, safer path is already available and expanding rapidly. When we compare our energy options, the choice becomes clearer. Fossil fuels carry a very high risk, contributing to climate change and air pollution, and they are not sustainable. Nuclear energy, while clean in operation, carries a high risk of catastrophic accidents and leaves a toxic legacy. In contrast, renewable energy sources like solar, wind, tidal, and geothermal power have a low-risk profile, are environmentally clean, and are truly sustainable. Around the world, the transition to these cleaner sources is accelerating. Solar panels and wind turbines are becoming a common sight, and countries are setting ambitious goals to achieve net zero emissions. By investing in renewable energy and improving energy efficiency, we can reduce our dependency on dangerous and volatile energy sources. This isn't just an environmental issue. It's a matter of global security and intergenerational justice. Energy can create life, or destroy Italiano. The chilling legacies of Chernobyl, Fukushima, and the silent threat of radioactive waste remind us that true progress isn't always about moving faster. Sometimes it's about knowing when to stop, reflect, and choose a safer, more responsible path for our planet and for all the generations who will inherit it. The choice is ours. Let us join Green Earth VN in raising awareness and taking action today for a safer future, free from radiation leaks and nuclear pollution. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to help protect the planet.